Yeah, good morning students. This is Damodar Reddy, and in the day 1 class we have completed our introduction of reflection of light at curved surfaces, and mainly we have focused on the topic of reflection on plane surface, and we have defined what is mean by reflection, and we have discussed about laws of reflections also. And we have concluded that laws of reflections are valid for both plane surfaces as well as for curved surfaces. And in the day 1 class, we completely focused on the introduction part of the reflection. But here, today we are going to discuss about some terminology related to the curved surfaces. Means when a light is falling on a curved surface, how it behaves. And we can see some types of mirrors in our day-to-day life, like which were called spherical mirrors or curved mirrors in automobile. Like for a vehicle, rear view mirrors are there for vehicle. So if you see your image inside the mirror of that vehicle, is that image will be equal in size with the object or not? Normally in our day-to-day life, at our home we have a plane mirror. In the plane mirror, the size of object is equal to size of image. That is very clear. But what happens with curved mirror? Do we get same size of image with the size of object? That is the important point we have to focus in this lesson. And in this lesson we are completely discussing about nature of the image when an object is placed before a curved mirror. How many kinds of images we are getting? And how many types of curved mirrors are there? When object is placed before a curved mirror, how to get the image? So first let us focus on some terms related to the curved surface here. For that, let us take an activity here. See here, there is a rectangular shaped rubber foam. Rectangular shaped rubber foam, and just insert some nails which are perpendicular to the plane of the rubber foam. Insert some nails which are perpendicular to the rubber foam. And obviously you can see these all the nails are parallel to each other. And try to bend this rubber foam either inwards or outwards. What happens? Suppose if I am bending inwards this rubber foam, I am bending inwards. And what is your observation here? All the nails will appear to meet at one point. In the case of nails which are parallel to each other, when the rubber foam is in plane shape, if the rubber foam is bent inwards, what happens? We have clearly observed that all the nails appear to converge at one point. And you can say that these all are normal lines, obviously, because every line is perpendicular to the plane, no? And these all are normal lines. And all the normal lines are meeting at one point. And this, the point where all the normal lines are meeting, that is called C, which means center of curvature of this curved surface. What is meant by C here? Center of curvature. See here, we are discussing this activity to define center of curvature. Remember that point. What we are doing here? See, all these nails are meeting at one point. No, this point, all of them are meeting at one point, and all the normals are meeting. So, and we are discussing this topic to find out what is a normal line for a curved surface and how to draw it. Suppose if I take a curved surface, this is a curved surface. Normally, if it is plane surface, you can draw normal easily, which is perpendicular to each other. This is normal. But if the surface is curved, how to draw the normal line? That is very important point here. Okay, now suppose if I take for this curved surface, there is a center of curvature C. If I draw any line which is passing through the center of curvature and at any point on the curved surface, which can be called as normal line. I think you got my point here. So this is to draw the normal line for the curved surface. And if you recall a simple geometry in the circle, in the mathematics we have, in a circle, and this is the center of curvature, you know, tangent in the mathematics, tangent line. So if I take a tangent line, if I draw a tangent line which meets at one point on the circle, So from the center of curvature, if I draw a line to this tangential line, so what happens, which makes 90 degrees angle here. So obviously this one becomes now normal line. So to draw a normal line for any curved surface, you can use this technique here. Draw a tangent on a curved surface and draw a line from the center of curvature. Obviously this line which is passing from center of curvature will make 90 degrees angle with the tangential line. So this is the method we are using to find the normal. Okay. So next here we have discussed about how to draw a normal line for a curved surface, and we have defined about center of curvature. So now if I take, so can we focus some light rays on a curved surface which are infinity distance. Suppose let us do an activity here. What happens? The light rays which are coming from the infinity distance and falling on a curved surface or a curved mirror. And let us do a simple activity here. So in this on a wooden box, and just you put two nails here. And if you arrange a candle before this setup, what happens? You can see this shadow of these nails. As long as this candle is near our setup, the shadow of these two nails will appear to be diverged. But when this candle is moving far away from this wooden piece, you can see the shadow of these two nails which are parallel. So my point is, when candle is near the wooden piece, this nail shadow is appearing to be diverged. When this candle is moved away from the wooden piece, which is very far from the wooden piece, the shadow of these two nails appears to be parallel. I think got my point here. Means when the candle is here, you can see the shadow of these nails diverging. Suppose this is nails here, you can see the shadow here diverging. But as long as the candle is moving away from the wooden piece, and you can clearly, suppose I am moving the candle somewhat far distance, suppose the candle is here, and you can see the image of these two nails parallel. And we can conclude that here, if the source of a light, is very far from the object, you can see that image of the nails is parallel. So that the source which is at far distance will give the parallel rays of light. And you know the very good example for that, what is that? Sun. Sun is very far from earth. So the rays which are coming from the sun can be taken as parallel beam of light rays. Means from this activity I am concluding that a source which is at far distance like a sun always emits parallel beam of light rays. Always emits parallel beam of light rays. That parallel beam of light rays falling on a curved surface. What happens here? See now, let us take a curved surface, the surface which is built inwards, and let us assume, and this is the center of curvature. Some parallel light rays are falling on this. Some parallel light rays falling on this, which are coming from the, I already told you, what is that? The light rays which are parallel to each other obviously should come from the sun only, which is at far distance. Now these rays, after incidenting on this curved surface, will meet at one point on the principal axis. This is center of curvature. And each and every light ray will get reflect back, as it is a, let us assume this is a curved mirror. Again we will discuss types of curved mirrors also. So here, each and every light ray will bounce back by following the first law of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So you can see every light ray is returned back and met at one point on this normal line, that is called capital F. So capital F means here focus. Focus or focal point. Focus or focal point. And let us assume this is a curved surface. The midpoint of the curved surface is pole P. So what is in the P here? Pole. And always the distance between the P to F is equal to f2c, which is called focal length f. What is small f here? Focal length. Focal length. The distance between the pole to focus. The distance between the pole to focus is called as focal length. And I already told you Pf is equal to Fc. And you know that PC. PC means here, what is here? Center of curvature. You know the distance between the center of curvature and any point and the curved surface is called radius of curvature. So PC is equal to R. So from this I can write here PC is equal to Pf plus Fc. PC is equal to Pf plus Fc. So PC is equal to F plus F. PC means R. So R is equal to 2F and F is equal to R2. And here we are giving the relation between the focal length and radius of curvature. See, again I am repeating here. Some parallel beam of light rays are falling on a curved surface. Let us assume this is a curved mirror. And all these light rays are coming from the sun. And after the reflection, they are meeting at one point on this normal line, which is also called as principal axis. And the point where all the light rays are meeting on the principal axis, which is called focus or focal point, are also called principal focus. And where P, midpoint of the curved surface, is called pole. And always the distance between the pole to focus is equal to focus to center of curvature. And this you can call small f, which is called focal length. The distance between the pole to focus or focal point is called focal length. And the distance between the pole to center of curvature, radius of curvature. And you can write from the diagram PC is equal to Pf plus Fc and R is equal to F plus F and R is equal to 2F. That means radius of curvature of any curved surface is 2 times of its focal length, or else focal length of the any curved surface is half of its radius of curvature. And here what are the terms we are introduced for the curved surfaces? First one pole, second one focus, focal length small f, C center of curvature, capital R radius of curvature, and a normal line which is passing through the center of curvature. And these are the main important terms related to the curved surface here. So now let us do an activity. How many kinds of images we are getting when an object is placed before a mirror? And here we have 2 types of mirrors here. There are 2 types of mirrors. So there one is concave, which is bent inwards and we have to shade outside. And second one is convex, and which is bent in outside and here shading must be inside. So there are 2 types of mirrors. One is concave, other one is convex. So when light rays are falling on concave, how the light rays are behaving and how many kinds of images we are getting, and when light rays are falling on the convex, how many kinds of images we are getting. And let us discuss an activity to know how many kinds of images we are getting. So in this activity, and first aim. So compulsory, whenever we discuss activity, we need to follow some steps compulsory. So first aim. What is the aim of this activity here is observing the types of images when an object is placed at different distances from a curved mirror. And in this activity we are using a concave mirror. And what is our aim here? Observing the different kinds of images. Observing the different kinds of images when an object is placed before a concave mirror. That is aim. And next one is materials. So materials required. Here concave mirror and a V-shaped stand and a white paper like screen. White paper means which is acting as a screen here, and a candle and a meter scale. So these are the materials we are using to observe the different kinds of images when object is placed before a concave mirror. And in this here, so here just I am drawing the setup of this experiment. This is a V-shaped stand, and we are arranging a concave mirror here, and here an object is placed, a candle, and here obviously some light rays are coming from the candle and falling on the concave mirror, and in this you can see that light rays are falling on the concave mirror. Obviously concave mirror will reflect the light rays, or you can see the image of this candle somewhere between this V-shaped stand and candle. So in order to observe the image of this candle, we are arranging a white paper. We are placing a white paper which is acting as a screen. So here always we are moving the candle from the mirror at different distances. We are placing the candle at different distances, and we are arranging a screen white paper. You can see the image on this white paper in different different types of images we can observe. So why we are getting the different kinds of images? Why? Because we are moving the candle. We are moving the candle from the mirror at different distances. So the point is, when you change the position of the object from the mirror, obviously we will get different kinds of images. And let us note down that. So in a table, let us take, it is a serial number 1, and a distance of candle and a distance of screen, and is it real or inverted? First we will note down. Later we will write all the kinds of images. So distance of the candle means from always distance must be measured from where? Concave mirror. And we can use a meter scale here. By using a meter scale, you can find out the distance. So you can note down the distance of the candle and where you are getting it. And always you don't think that immediately you do not get the image here. We need to adjust both of them. At all the distance you don't get the image. At some certain distance only you are getting the image of the candle on the paper. And just note down at what distances we are getting different kinds of images on the screen. Just note down the values. So you can modify this table to make our observations and making this as. So what is that here? This is a concave mirror. What is the object here? Object is a candle. So now I can say that the distance between the mirror to candle is called object distance. So now right here, object distance, which is denoted with E, U. Next, we are getting image on the screen, and this is called U, and this is called V. What is that? V, image distance. Image distance, that is V. And here you have to observe that always object distance is changed, and obviously image distance also changed. So you have to note down the values. And here, how many kinds of images you are getting here? So either it is real or inverted. Real or inverted. Next, real or virtual. Real or virtual. Next, enlarged or diminished. We will discuss what are these all. Next, enlarged or diminished. Next, inverted or erected. Inverted or erected. So now we are placing the object a different distances from the concave mirror here. Now U means object distance, distance between the mirror and candle. Image distance, distance between the mirror and screen. Next, either the image is real or virtual, enlarged or diminished, inverted or erect. So here, real or virtual, what does it mean by real or virtual? Real in the sense, when we are doing this experiment, sometimes we do get image on the mirror, screen, and sometimes we do not get image on the screen, we may get inside the mirror. That is important point here. Sometimes we do get image on the screen, sometimes we get image on the mirror. So the image which can be caught on the screen is called as real image. What is the real image? The image which can be caught on the screen is called real image. And the image which cannot caught on the screen, because we are defining real image and virtual image based upon the catching on the screen. So which cannot caught on the screen in the sense it will be somewhere. In where it is found, it is inside the mirror. That is called virtual. Okay now. So real image means which can caught on the screen. Virtual image means which cannot caught on the screen. With reference to the screen we are defining this. Okay. Next let us go to the enlarged or diminished. So sometimes the size of the candle or the size of the flame may be bigger on the screen, and sometimes the size of the flame smaller on the screen. The flame in the sense it is image. So the size of the image sometimes bigger and the size of the image sometimes it is smaller. So if the size of the image is greater than the size of the object, then it is called enlarged. Size of the image is greater than the size of the object, that is called enlarged. If the size of image is smaller than the size of object, that is called diminished image. Okay. Next, inverted or erected. Inverted or erected. So inverted or erected means reversing position. Suppose we have here we have a flame. We have a flame like this, and we are getting the flame on the screen reverse. You can see. Actually, this is a flame position, and now we are getting the image here. We are getting like this image on the screen. So, are we getting the image reverse position or not? So that is called inverted. Or else sometimes we get as it is. That is called erected. Inverted means reverse. Erected means as it is. So sometimes we are getting reverse position. Let us take an arrow mark. Simple. We can understand. This is erected. This is inverted. Over. This is erected image. This is inverted image. Erected means as it is. Okay. So that is called inverted or erected. I think what are the headings we have written in the table here. First one, object distance, distance from the mirror to distance between the mirror to candle. Next, the image distance, distance between the mirror to screen. Next, real or virtual, which can be caught on the screen, which cannot be caught on the screen. Enlarged, increased in size, diminished, decreased in size. Inverted, reverse in position, erected as it is. And let us do this experiment by placing the object at different distances. And what we have to do here is, first we know that when object is placed at certain far distance, means at infinity distance. Let us assume first position, object is at infinity. And second one, and you know that this concave mirror has a center of curvature. And second position is beyond C. Means suppose this is curved surface, this is center of curvature. First object where at infinity. Second where beyond C. Beyond C means just beside center of curvature. After C. Just after C. Beyond C means. Third one on C. These are positions of object. Or you can write here object distance or position of object. Object position you can write. Object position. And this is image position. If you measure them, it will become distance, not a problem. See, and next fourth one, between focal point and center of the ray. Let us assume this is focal point. On C over. Next, between F and C. Just we are moving the object from infinity distance towards mirror. That's it. And next fifth one, on F, on focus. And sixth one, this is pole, between pole and focus. Here between pole and focus. So here, what is the object positions? How many positions are possible to place an object before the mirror here? Totally 6 positions are possible. First at infinity means simply we are moving object towards mirror, that's it, just moving. First infinity, second beyond C, next on C, next between F and C, next on F, next between B and F. And we are placing the object at 6 positions and we are making the observations and noting down the observations in the table. And you can fill this table by drawing the ray diagram concept. It means where you are getting the image and whether it is real or virtual, whether it is enlarged or diminished or inverted or tilted. So by using the concept of ray diagrams of the concave mirror or convex mirror, we can fill this table. That ray diagrams concept we will cover in the next class.